Everybody's been sort of begging me for shaker run updates, so here we go. Wheels are on, suspension's in, front suspension is rebuilt for the first time in 30 years. So for the first time ever we've actually got, because this of course is a HQ sedan, sorry about this, we've just got the wheels in there for some added ballast, but we've got, look at that, it's a manual 303 shifter. We haven't fixed that yet, but we've got that in. We experimented a bit with the paint on the front because, as you know, the nose cone on Shake is black where the rest of it's pink. So we think we've kind of got it, but we think there's more of an angle on the front as it points towards that, but we'll get more into the paint and details of it at some point in time. We're just sort of trying to see where we're at the minute. We need some floor pan patch panels. That's a definite thing. I should probably introduce this because people don't sort of actually know much about this car at all. This is Shaker from Shaker Run, the 1985 movie. It's a HQ sedan with a fiberglass Tom Morland body fitted to it. So the entire body on this is fiberglass. There's one of the doors off it there. It's a bit of a grandfather's axe, this. We don't know if there's much of the original car left, or if any of the original car left. Who knows, really? But it was basically a guy who was making a Shaker replica, and he bought this body down in Taupo. And of course, it's got the roof cut out of it. It's got the mini speedo on it. It was pink, so we think it's probably the Shaker Run stunt car. It's also got damage here underneath it, the front. From some of the stunts, if you can see that here, it's kind of smashed to pieces, and where it's been jumped, scrapes on the front of the chassis too. The close-up car apparently went to Japan. That's as much as we can find out with that. And this one went to become a race car. So they were trying to build it into a race car, but of course, this being a movie car, it's not a race car. That is not a chrome molly frame, and it's not a great frame either. It's nothing particularly flash. It's a bit horrible. Seats are all wrong. There's the speedo stereo bits and pieces. We'll just put a Falcon steering wheel in it for now. There's a ton of work to do on this, like, we're not going to kid ourselves. It's stood for a while now. It's been aside for probably 3 or 4 years as we've been trying to work it, but you know, we're getting through it. There's a lot of work to do on this. It's got a tiny tank. It's all cut out, no boot floor. We'll redo this car to our own specs, but the main thing first is for us to get a complete suspension in it, see what it's like, get it rolling, and then we'll pull it apart for the final assembly. Well, the lance wheel, you can see him walking around with the painted springs and stuff we've got of it. This thing's going to be about 8 foot high, isn't it, without no springs on it? It's like a 4x4. Yeah, so we're basically trying our best to get everything together as much as we can, and then we'll drop an engine in it and see what it runs like and see what it's like, really. There's a fair bit to do, obviously, and always, but if we can get this closer, we will, and then we'll go around making it better. I mean, there's probably an argument to be had for we should leave it all original because it's a movie car and that's how it should stay. But, you know, we at least want to drive this thing, and we want it to be somewhat safe-ish, I guess. I mean, it was probably safe enough-ish in the movie, and it's, you know, it took all the stunts pretty good. But I think a different design on some of this cage, definitely in the front and the rear of it. I mean, this is never going on the road. Let's not kid ourselves. We've got a set of plates for it, but it's a very different matter. The plates are obviously dead, and this car was registered at some point in time, allegedly, back in the 80s, but trying to re-register this on the roads for today is nil, but it is still very cool. A lot of work. Now I keep saying a lot of work, and I sound kind of like fairly stressed by the idea of it, but this is now actually something we're actually working on, and it is pretty cool. Like I said, it's a really interesting concept. Fiberglass Trans Am HQ sedan. HQ sedan is not what we would have used. I mean, underneath it, we would have used something else with a full chassis on it, rather than something that's kind of cut down and has 2 subframes. Subframe on the rear, bolt-on subframe on the front. I don't know, man. That's not really quite what I would have done with it. But anyway, that's irrelevant. what is relevant is it's starting to come back together for the first time in 30 odd years. It's been dumped in paddocks, it's been thrown around everywhere, but finally we're actually making some steps forward with it. We've had this thing for quite a while. We just sometime we'll make a start on it, it'll be on its wheels, and you probably won't see a lot of updates then until realistically probably next summer, when we'll be trying to throw this together as fast as we can for QMU Hot Rod Show, and hopefully we'll get there. No promises, but yeah, I guess none of you have seen a fiberglass Molden replica before, because this is a very peculiar Kiwi thing. He made Panteras, and he made these, and he made Corvettes, and they're all based on HQs. Maybe not the Panteras, if I remember right. But yeah, it's a crazy story. They just basically started making molds of these and selling them to New Zealand, because the Trans Am was a very, 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 very expensive, very, very exclusive car here, especially back in the 80s. I mean, it's still pretty dear now, you know. Actually, they're very dear everywhere now, but in America, because they set a penchant to rust. Trans Ams are cool cars, but man, they rust. Especially all these F-bodies rusting around the back windows and down and into the trunk floors, and it's pretty terminal. Also, T-top cars rusted worse because, you know, T-tops leak. Apparently, if you put Vaseline on them, they're worse. They're better leaking, or rather, they stop leaking. This thing, you wait till you see what this looks like. It does not look like your conventional Trans Am. It has a bull bar and rock sliders on the side of it. So obviously it was meant to be a stunt car in a movie, and a stunt car in the rest of it, and 4 big, huge, humongous sibbies at the front. Some Kiwis are pretty excited to see this thing. I mean, it is famous, and we'll have it together in our own kind of way soon. So hold tight, guys, and see how we build it. Like, we're not really sure what the power plant yet. We'll probably used to have it originally had a 400 with a turbo on it, which is a crazy thought for the 80s. Like, so it was a 400 big block, a 400 small block Chevy, sorry, in the stunt car, and a 350 Chevy TH350 box in the other car. 2 cars were built side by side, so they would be almost identical. But this thing has really had a tough life since then. Pulled apart a dozen times, you know. And we're basing the fact that how many black and pink fiberglass Trans Ams do you think there are in New Zealand? Probably this one. If anybody else has got one, like a Molden replica or something, let me know. And especially if somebody's got Molden parts, what I'd really like to find is one that is abandoned in a field somewhere that I can use some of the fiberglass parts off, because this one is a tough reassembly. The bonnet is destroyed. It's just absolutely wrecked. What do you think, Lance? What's the chances of getting this thing on the road? Well, none. What's the chances of us putting it back together and do burnouts in it?
No, it's
high.
That's what it will be.
So Lance is the chief mechanic here, and we've been scavenging Holdens from his parts grave. Yeah. Is it what we're going to think? We've literally dug them up from the fields to put them together, so it'll be kind of fun to do, really. This is Lance's awesome work wagon, Toyota Steamers. Like I keep telling everybody, these are the greatest JDM cars of all time. Just brilliant. Camper, everything. We use it at QMU. Lance has got the Humber, and we've got a couple of 50s Plymouths we're working on at the minute. And now what else we got? Maybe the Rover, Lance? Maybe the Rover?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. And we'll run you around the rest of the field of stuff in here at some point in time, but we're cutting them back quite a lot. The Austin 1100 is a skip at the moment, which is quite handy. And yeah, we'll pick you through the rest of the cars as we have time. In fact, I'm going to give you a sneak preview, because I like giving you sneak previews on things anyway. We've got this Marina pickup and the Transit. You can see we've actually removed the Skoda at the minute, because it's actually gone into long-term storage for the moment. And this is the Toyota Synos Anglia project. We're next time you see this, hopefully it'll be in primer, and hopefully the Transit will be painted. This actually runs and drives. It's really cool. We didn't build it. We bought it from a guy down south who'd had enough of the project, and we've been gradually plucking away at it, finding parts. It's really cool. It looks like a futuristic Anglia. Just to put it back together, now is the big push coming up. We'll try and video some of this stuff for you as we go through it, because it's really interesting. a few cars going out as well for the next couple of weeks, so I'll show you some of that as well. Hope everyone is doing good, and if you could like and subscribe, that would be amazing, because that's all we sort of do this for. We don't get any money from any of you guys, we don't usually beg for likes and subscriptions, but people keep unsubscribing people from the channel. We don't really know why that is, but a couple of channels that we've noticed recently have all had people unsubscribed, including one of my friends who went to check to see if he was subscribed to the channel, and he wasn't, because he'd been unsubscribed by YouTube. So if you just check he's still subscribed, that would be awesome. Hope you're all having a good time, guys, and then hopefully next time you see this will be painted, this will be primed, and Shaker will be back on her wheels. Thanks, guys.